The UK property market hasn't crashed, and that's exactly why this moment is so dangerous. When markets crash, people react quickly, fear spreads, decisions are forced, and the damage is obvious. But what's happening now is quieter, slower, and far more deceptive. Prices aren't collapsing overnight. Headlines suggest things are cooling or stabilizing. Estate agents talk about resilience, and many homeowners believe they've made it through the worst. But beneath that calm surface, pressure is building across the entire system. In past housing downturns, the warning signs were impossible to ignore. Prices dropped sharply, sales dried up, media coverage turned negative almost overnight. Everyone knew something was wrong, but this market is behaving in a way that feels unfamiliar and falsely reassuring. Instead of sudden drops, prices are drifting. Instead of mass panic, there's confusion. Some areas are falling while others appear stable. That uneven picture makes people believe the system is stronger than it really is. But stability under pressure isn't strength, it's tension. This market is absorbing stress rather than releasing it, and that's far more dangerous. When pressure is released slowly, people adapt. When it's delayed, it compounds. The longer the market avoids a clean reset, the more painful that reset becomes when it finally arrives. This isn't a pause before growth, it's a delay before consequences. And delayed consequences don't disappear. They stack up quietly until something breaks. And the biggest pressure point isn't even showing up in prices yet. Millions of homeowners are still protected by fixed-rate mortgage deals locked in years ago, when borrowing was cheap and payments felt manageable. On the surface, everything looks stable. Defaults are low, repossessions aren't dominating headlines. But this stability is temporary. Those fixed rates expire in waves, not all at once, which makes the danger harder to spot. Each month, another group of households is forced to refinance into a completely different reality. Monthly payments jump by hundreds, sometimes thousands. That kind of shock doesn't always cause immediate default. It causes silent damage. Families cut spending, burn through savings, delay life plans, and cling on longer than they should. Lenders see this pressure clearly, which is why affordability checks are tightening quietly and approvals are becoming more selective. The system is preparing for strain even if the public isn't. And once enough households feel that squeeze at the same time, behavior changes fast. And markets follow behavior, not headlines. The buy-to-let sector isn't wobbling. It's quietly retreating. Rising interest rates, heavier taxation, tighter regulations, and shrinking margins have turned property investing from passive income into constant financial pressure. Many landlords are no longer making money. Some are barely breaking even. Others are losing cash every month just to hold on. And instead of shouting about it, they're exiting quietly. Portfolios are being trimmed, properties are listed discreetly, expansion plans are abandoned. This kind of exit doesn't look like a crash because it's slow and fragmented. But when investors leave, liquidity disappears. When liquidity disappears, pricing becomes fragile. At the same time, rental supply tightens, pushing rents higher and masking deeper weakness. Eventually, refinancing failures force sales. Not because landlords want to sell, but because they have no choice. And forced sellers don't wait for the right price. They take what the market gives them, which makes the next narrative even more dangerous. You'll hear that buyer demand is picking up, that confidence is improving, that the market is adjusting. But demand alone doesn't make a market healthy. Affordability does. Many of today's buyers are conditional, dependent on rate cuts that haven't happened, family support that isn't guaranteed, or income assumptions that are fragile. Lenders understand this, which is why approvals don't match inquiries, and why deals are collapsing late in the process. Demand today is thin and easily shaken. It exists only as long as nothing changes. But markets never stay still. A shift in rates, employment, or sentiment can make today's demand disappear overnight. And when demand vanishes in a market already under pressure, prices don't gently slide. They stall, freeze, and then reset suddenly. Demand that depends on hope is not real demand, it's delay. And that delay is being mistaken for protection. Low transaction volumes can create the illusion of stability. When fewer homes sell, price drops look smaller and slower. Sellers hold off listing. Buyers wait. Agents manage expectations. Politicians soften language. But pressure doesn't vanish just because activity slows. It concentrates. Thin markets are fragile markets. Once forced sellers enter, through refinancing stress, investor exits, or income shocks, pricing doesn't adjust politely. It snaps. When liquidity is low, Even a small surge of urgent sellers can reset prices fast. This is how markets surprise people. Not through gradual declines, but through sudden repricing when the balance finally tips. The current calm isn't proof of safety. It's proof of tension being held in place. And when that tension releases, it won't be evenly distributed. One of the most dangerous aspects of this phase is how uneven the impact will be. Some regions will appear fine. Prime areas, cash-heavy zones, and supply-constrained markets may hold up longer. That contrast creates denial. People point to pockets of strength and assume the system is safe. But risk doesn't spread evenly. It targets leverage, timing, and exposure. New buyers who stretch too far. Investors with multiple properties. Regions dependent on fragile employment. When damage appears uneven, collective reaction is delayed. And delayed reaction makes outcomes worse. By the time the problem feels national, it's already entrenched locally. This is how markets break quietly. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Which leads to the most uncomfortable question of all. The most exposed groups aren't obvious at first glance. Homeowners rolling off ultra-low fixed rates face payment shocks that permanently change household budgets. Landlords holding multiple properties are vulnerable to refinancing failure and shrinking margins. First-time buyers stretching affordability have no buffer if conditions shift. Renters are trapped between rising costs and shrinking supply. Each group feels a different pressure, but they're all connected. Stress in one area spills into another. When enough pressure points align, the market doesn't need a trigger event. It collapses under accumulated strain. And once that process starts, it moves faster than most people expect. Which brings us to the real danger of this moment. This isn't about panic, it's about timing. The most dangerous markets are the ones that convince people everything is under control, right before it isn't. The UK property market isn't booming or crashing, it's tightening. And tight systems fail suddenly. Those who mistake stability for safety will be the most exposed. Those who understand this phase for what it is, a slow, deceptive buildup, will be the ones with options when pressure finally releases. The question isn't whether this phase ends. It's who is prepared when it does.